Hello, parents. My name is Mr. Anderson. I am your child's language arts teacher. A little bit about me. I am, like probably most of you, a very similar life stage in that I'm 40 years old and I'm the parents of two school age kids. My son, Evan, is 12. He's a seventh grader. And then my daughter, Caitlin, is 10. She is a fifth grader. And there's my wife, Amy, who is beautiful. I'm a person of faith. I'm a family guy. I like to exercise and be active, really into sports. And of course, as a language arts teacher, I enjoy reading. Experience wise, I've been teaching now for 14 years. This is year 15. So 14 years under my belt. And those years have been split just about 50-50 between intermediate school and high school. So I've taught sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, all of them except for 10th. I never got 10th. But I not only am familiar with what students need to be doing at this stage of the game as seventh and eighth graders, but I'm also really familiar firsthand with what high school is going to entail for them as ninth graders, and then even all the way up through 11th and 12th grade. And so my aim is to get them ready for what the next leg of their educational journey will include. A little bit about our class. So we have certain aims in our class, certain goals, and it's always been my practice to help students become young professionals. I tell them in my classroom they are like young professionals in training. And so I'm going to treat them not as kids, but as young people who are transitioning into, or at least toward, young adulthood. And so they're going to be young professionals in my room and learn how to conduct themselves in that manner. We're also looking to help them become problem solvers, especially in this new world of remote learning. There are tech challenges and new things to learn and obstacles to overcome. And one of the things I'm going to say to them often is, hey, figure it out. And that's not to abdicate my responsibility as their teacher by any means, but is to teach them how to problem solve for themselves. And then we also want to become creators of content. And so one of the aims I have this year is to make sure that at least some of what we are doing, the assignments that we're doing, tasks we're doing, don't terminate with me as the sole recipient of those assignments. So we want to write things like Amazon reviews, and with your permission, allow them to publish those on Amazon. We want to write business letters to companies and hope to get a response from In-N-Out or McDonald's or whatever it might be. Um, we want to create content that actually goes out to the world and beyond sort of the walls or even the virtual walls of our classroom. Students, kind of standard stuff in my room, are expected to be respectful and responsible and results oriented. That applies both to the virtual classroom and at some point the physical classroom. And then grades. Grades are always a big point of interest, I think, for most parents. And so you see the breakdown there. The state standards are broken down in four categories for language arts: reading, writing, language, and then speaking and listening. And so each assignment, a lot of the assignments in language arts kind of have elements of multiple categories, but each assignment will have one key area of focus and go into that category, and each category is equally weighted. The standard grading scale, as far as what makes an A and a B and a C and so on. And then a couple of key things to be aware of with respect to grades. One is that assignments that are late are penalized 10% for each day that they are late. Usually, I will still give a student at least half credit if something is quite a bit late over a week, 7, 8, 9 days. If they're willing to do the work, we'll at least get them half credit. But just to be aware that there is a reduction. Exceptions are made, of course, for absences, illnesses, that sort of thing. That is not factored in as far as a penalty. However many days that they are absent, they have that many days to work on the assignment and still receive full credit. The other thing with grades to be aware of is that students' grades, their official grades, are going to be in Q, or Student or Parent Connect. So there will be some scores that appear in Google Classroom, since much of what they will do will be submitted through Google Classroom. But their official course grade is going to appear within Q, Student Connect or Parent Connect. So you can look there. And then one other little note, not on the slide here, but worth mentioning, because I usually get this question come up when we can do this in person. And that is that if students perform poorly on an assignment, especially test quizzes, those can be retaken one time per. We just had our first grammar quiz. Students who didn't perform as well as they had hoped are able to retake that quiz one time. They can't retake that same quiz again and again and again and again. But come next week, if they don't do as well as they would like on grammar quiz number 2, they're allowed one retake on that quiz as well. So retakes are available. And then there'll be more on connecting in a little bit here, but these are the main means of doing that through Google Classroom, especially for students. Remind the main ways that you as a parent can stay in the loop. And then there's my email, which will come up again in a little bit. What we're going to be doing in language arts is, again, those 4 categories. We'll be reading a large variety of text types, writing a large variety of text types for various audiences, listening and speaking quite a bit to in respect to other people's experiences and thoughts, and then speaking our own experiences and thoughts, and then learning how language works, grammar and learning vocabulary and things like that. All becoming better communicators. As I've told my students, I believe that life is all about relationships, relationships with family and friends and neighbors and coworkers. At the end of the day, the most important things really aren't things; they're people. And so, as you know, communication is vital to healthy relationships. And so, really, everything that we do in language arts is about becoming a better communicator, so that ultimately we have healthy relationships. So that's what we're going to be up to. Some supplies, obviously they need a device, and if that's still a struggle for you at this point, I believe that you still have the ability to request a device through the district, and so you can look into that through our school website, and I think there's emails that have gone out with info on how to request a device. We're going to be using some Chrome extensions, which I've explained to the students and will more as we get to where we use them. But just to put your mind at ease, if you're not familiar, all a Chrome extension is, Google Chrome extension, is an extension that can be added to Google Chrome that allows certain things to be done that couldn't otherwise be done. So, for example, I'm currently using Screencastify, which is a Google Chrome extension to create this little video. So we want them to add those extensions and perhaps others as we go. They're all free. We won't ask students to do anything that is a financial cost. And they're all, reputable, trustworthy extensions. You don't have to worry about viruses or any of that kind of thing being a part of what happens by them downloading these extensions. So if and when we can return to school in person, we'll go over in-person supplies at that time. Plagiarism is a big deal. Most of us are probably familiar. It's essentially a form of cheating in which students turn in work that isn't actually theirs. They copied it from somebody else. They got it on the internet. They took a paragraph from something they found and made it look like it was their own paragraph, that kind of thing. It's a serious offense. And if a student plagiarizes, they do receive a 0. They get no credit for the assignment. And in some cases may face administrative consequences as well. So just a heads up there, it's a real big deal, especially in language arts. And then again, as we were alluding to earlier, communication is really key. So Google Classroom is where students are going to find all of their assignments. And you're welcome to navigate that with them as well, so you can see what they've got going on in there. Hey, take me into your Google Classroom page, show me the assignments for this week. Mine is set up so that everything is grouped by week. So we just finished up week 2, at least as of the time of this recording. And then the assignments for next week will be categorized under week 3 with the dates and so on and so forth. Remind is probably the best direct line of communication from me to you in terms of getting information out so that you have kind of a heads up on due dates and can be making sure you're staying on top of your child with respect to assignments that should be completed. Just a sort of fair warning or clarification that you won't be able to respond to those remind messages that come to you via text, and you're going to see that on the next slide, how to enroll. But you're not able to respond to them. It's really just my way of trying to funnel all of my communication to my email rather than having multiple things that I'm trying to reply to. So email address is there. I'm really trying to work with students on, again, becoming young professionals. And so we went through a lesson on email etiquette just this week, and they're learning how to properly send an email. So if there are issues that come up for a student with their grade or whatever it may be, but actually prefer that the student email me. That's not to say that you can't email me. You absolutely can. But we're trying to get them to take on more responsibility and become young professionals and not rely quite as much on mom and dad to contact the teacher if there's an issue with their grade, but to allow them to do that for themselves. So really want to encourage them to be the ones that contact me via email. And then here are those remind codes. So you'll see them there based on periods. So you obviously want to make sure you are signing up for the period that your student has my class. And the way you do this, if you've got the Remind app, you can join just through the app with that code that you see for the particular class period. And if you do not, then you simply send a text message. Just open your text message application on your phone and send the message at, and then the particular combination of letters and numbers you see there. And then that text message goes to the number 81010. So you just plug in 81010 as the contact, and then the actual text message will say at, and then as you see what follows there. So what I'd encourage you to do is maybe just hit pause on the video here as you go ahead and enter that information if you haven't yet done so. And then I look forward to a great year working with your child, and look forward to them growing tremendously as communicators. Thanks so much.